Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. Assalam Akbar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalam Akbar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalam. Allahu Akbar. Assalam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalam Ahad. Assalam Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. My mothers, I say happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, mothers. You're 90 years old, 30 years old, 50 years old, 10 years old. You're my mothers. With that, and my engine and my tank, I haven't gotten a room for the boys. I just want to tell my mothers that due to my interpretation of the holy ayahs of the Holy Quran, I would like to make a summary for now of what I've put on on my interpretation of these ayahs. That you mothers, you are honored by Allah. And that celestial honor and obligation is there because it's interpreted in a visual and live living interpretations when you carry children in your wombs and you produce them, either a boy, a girl. That is what Allah, in which Allah says, yes, indeed, the mothers, you are honored by Allah. With that, I would like to, as I said, I'm going to summarize for now these interpretations because a few days ago, I was attacked by a gang of criminals. Those are pimps and whatever. They ganged up and they attacked me. They did hit me with something, they call it a spanner. Something which a tool which they use for whatever. They hit me 17 times on my skull, and they did they did a lot of whatever, so a lot of damage. But that is why for now I want to kind of summarize, because when I was here on Mother Planet Earth, my duty was to inform each and every human that your celestial obligation, one, you've got to honor and adhere to the laws and the holy divine laws that governs your societies. And with that, the first honor as living human beings is to honor the mothers who carried you for 9 months. If you honor the mothers, then that will and to love the religion in which you were created, the religion which explains in great detail that you are all Muslims. You are Muslim societies on Mother Planet Earth, in which you are not allowed to commit practices of human trafficking, drug peddling or drug selling or weapons manufacturing and weapons trafficking. So many the economics of this planet are likely at present time in 80% of your human economics is in destruction, either with things which are hazardous to health or hazardous projects, and so many. If you are able to get people who are kind of qualified to make evaluation and assessments who are not biased, who are not corrupted, you find that many of you, in one way or the other, have already tasted the bitter or the hard whatever of the environment. When we say the environment, many of you are engaged in practices of envy against Mother Nature, envy against the beauty of life, of which we saw that life is a very beautiful, very, very beautiful religion. And that most holy, beautiful religion is Islam without a single doubt. Because every muscle tissue in a human body, let it be an internal organ, tissue, whatever, is crafted, is whatever managed by an Islamic application of the red and white blood cells, which constructs and builds every muscle tissue. So if that is, because medically, you men who say you are doctors, which I usually doubt, because these things you didn't know anything about these things. You went on a rampage of 11. I gave you a scenario of 11 centuries. We looked at that 11 centuries of what we call education curriculums, in which many of you, as living human beings, your genetics, your security, say what you call health securities, things that protects you from being mowed down by diseases and whatever and manufactured calamities, we are being put aside, and what you men and women we are promoting is the destruction, which is at present time, which is at as high as 80% and more of the world economics is based on destruction. So that way, that the destruction includes of human beings as well as other creation and the environment itself, the Mother Nature itself. So with that, I do not intend to go to say, oh, I'm at war. Now, I've never mentioned that word that I did ask you, I said, are you really at war with me? So I think some of them said, oh, no. Because whenever I used to enter into my story, when I record these things, there are people who say or who do things that are kind of contrary to the beauty of life. They do things which are contrary to the beauty of life. From when I say things, these ayahs, I interpret them, and angels are there to witness. And these ayahs are enforced by the holy different decrees of Allah. Whether you may like to take whatever, but they are enforced. Because I speak of holy divine laws, which have proof and evidence. Allah says, do direct laws, in which Allah says, do not put alcohol in your body. If you were to look at a person who consumes alcohol, their body or their skin will exhibit a reddish boiling muscle tissues and decaying, because they cannot get regeneration in any way. They're decaying, they're boiling, and also they are rotting. So that way, it's something that, and on top of that, anybody who puts alcohol in their bodies, the percent of contracting cancer are more than 99%. So that way, I say to you mothers, my mothers, I have put what I have put on the table, and I won't allow people to come and say, we want to kill you, we want to do this. That can cause the entire planet, whatever, to collapse. Every one of you to die just by doing things that are prohibited. Because whatever I say, each and every angel in the universe and every stand, everything has proof of the most holy, beautiful religion, Islam. When you very little things, men and women on Mother Planet Earth say, no, our way of life is this, and this is what we can do. Seriously, I was attacked here. I was attacked by a gang of criminals. There were 22, a group of 22 criminals, pimps and whatever you, holding your whatever and spanners and tools, and they hugged me, they hit me on the on something on my whatever. So that way, I would like to summarize by saying to you, mothers, you and I have given you a scenario whereby I've been telling you all the genocides and all the genocides that have ever occurred on this planet have been orchestrated and driven. And driven by what? By men. All genocides and wars driven by what? By men. So it's up to you, mothers, to work out which direction you want to go. And in those genocides and what have you, genocide and atrocities, most of those genocides, you mothers were the victims. Mothers and children were the victims. And in some genocides, there are cases whereby you see a mother picking up her child to try and run away from those whatever. So now, for me, as I summarize for now, because I've got other things to do, not here on Mother Planet Earth, but somewhere else. So that way, when I'm summarizing, I'm saying, mothers, I have told you we are honored by Allah, and that honor should be respected and protected and given its credit by those men and women you carry in your wombs. Teach them the right direction. That way maybe the shedding of blood will kind of reduce and stop manufacturing weapons. Stop manufacturing weapons. Stop human trafficking. Stop anything that desecrates your dignities and your integrities. Mothers, that's all I'm trying to show you, that if you were to be in a state of which we saw First World War, Second World War, and so many silent and whatever genocides, most of those whatever, the victims were what? Women and children. So with that, I'll conclude, I'll summarize by saying, I was here on Mother Planet Earth just to try and show you that teach your children the true religion, and that religion is Islam, without fitna. Without fitna. The true religion is Islam, without what? Fitna. If you add anything of fitna to that most holy, beautiful religion, Islam, the religion of every angel and the religion of Allah, that will destroy every human being. If you put your people, you put your interest, which is some of your interests which are exhibited in weapons of mass destruction. So with that, I'll summarize and say, my mothers, I will travel, I'll go back to the upper universe, very far from here. It took me 34 years. But the solar system on which you are as living human beings is to be able, you won't be able to be repaired until such a time that you men and women show that you respect what we call life. If you continue exhibiting what you call your desires and lusts, then there is no way this solar system will work, and the environment will also continue to deteriorate. That's all I can say. Assalam akbar. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.